It's another edition of Time About the Movies. Today we're taking a look at the films of January 30th, 2004. Only 3 films to look at today, so let's go ahead and get right to them. We'll start off with the biggest new release of the weekend, which is, of all things, You Got Served. Yeah, for those of you out there that don't remember the South Park episode called F'd in the A, that's what this was basically parodying, and no one ever heard of this movie ever again after that. I mean, just think about it. This past January was the 20th anniversary of this movie. Did you hear any anniversaries for this particular film? No, because it immediately was forgotten as soon as it came out. Then again, you open up on Super Bowl weekend where there's no competition whatsoever, and obviously people are going to come to this, which is a shame because there's nothing about this movie that's valuable to it. You have the story here following a group of dancers who take part in a street dancing competition. That's literally all the movie is, and it's one of those movies that was coming around the time of like 8 Mile, Honey, Step Up. Of course, was the much bigger success out of all these, but this was a surprise hit that nobody really saw coming, and it only cost them $8 million, and it made over $15 million worldwide. And it's amazing how there was only just one sequel to this that was a direct-to-video sequel, and it just pretty much tells you everything you need to know about the longevity of this movie, and that this film did not have any longevity to it. In fact, it was like I said, it was largely forgotten right from the get-go because it is a product of its time, and it's a film that has not held up well at all. Like, at least with some other movies, some other dance movies like Flashdance and Footloose are perfect examples of dance movies that still hold up. Dirty Dancing has held up more than a movie like You've Got Served did. Like this and also Honey. But, I mean, Step Up, I think it was the much bigger success out of all of these dance films that were coming out at the time. And this was just one that was just kind of like, it was for the zeitgeist of the time. There was literally nothing else out there, so where are you going to take your girlfriend to on a Friday night? Take her to this movie, and you'll probably never see it again afterwards. I'm telling you, nobody remembers this movie after 2004. I mean, really, like, can you think of anybody that has had an anniversary dedicated to this, or is there any real legitimate fans to this? I don't think this has even been released on Blu-ray. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I'm just thinking now because I don't really remember anybody talking about this after 2004. But like I said, that South Park episode I was talking about, this was the inspiration for it. So yeah, it's not really that great of a film. If you want my review for it, I don't think I even said what I thought about the film. But it's nothing special. It's nothing really that amazing. I mean, the dance sequences are okay, I guess. But like I said, Step Up, I think, has perfected that to a T, where people will go to those movies, even as ridiculous as those movies get at times. Those are still more fun movies than I would say something like this. But that's just me, though. So let's go ahead and move on to our next movie, and that is The Perfect Score. First time that Black Widow and Captain America worked with each other, and that was what, 10 years before The Winter Soldier. Actually, no, The Avengers. That was 8 years ago. That was 8 years before this. But this is The Perfect Score, and you have, like I said, Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson, Erica Christensen, Brian Greenberg, Leonard Naum, Darius Miles. They play 6 New Jersey high school students whose futures will be jeopardized if they fail the upcoming SAT exams. They conspire to break into a regional office of the Lawrence Township, New Jersey-based ETS, Educational Testing System, which prepares and distributes the SATs, and steal the answers to the exams so they can all get perfect scores. The film deals with themes of one's future, morality, individuality, and feelings, with a lot of similarities to other high school movies like The Breakfast Club, Dazed and Confused, which are often referenced throughout the film. The film was not a big hit when it came out, and I remember watching the film, and it's got a good premise to it, a good idea to it, but you can kind of see where the problems will come into play here. All these guys got the perfect scores. You know good and goddamn well that the SAT people would have been just like, wait a goddamn minute, something is not right here in Denmark. And, yeah. Unfortunately, it does go down that path. It doesn't really go to the levels that you think it should go to. Like, it should be a much smarter film than it is, but it's released in January. It should probably tell you right there everything you should know about how this film is going to turn out. I mean, like I said, it has a good idea to it, just bad execution. The way that it should be presented doesn't really go goes you think it does. It doesn't really. It's basically the most predictable plot you could think of here. Like, if they went a different direction with it, maybe you could have found a way to make it work. But as it is, a good idea, just a blown opportunity. And a shame, because everybody in here is doing a decent job acting-wise. Everybody in here is very good acting-wise. Sometimes you'll get a good chuckle here and there, some good moments here and there, and like the references they make to like the movies I just mentioned, Breakfast Club, Dazed and Confused, they're perfect, they're serviceable in there. I just wish there was a better movie around it, because the pieces are definitely there for something good. But unfortunately, there's just not a good film there to really deliver the promise of something that could be really good out of it. So yeah, that's the perfect score. So let's go ahead and move on to our last movie here, and that is The Big Bounce. Based off of Elmore Leonard's story, you have Jack Ryan, no relation to Alec Baldwin, Ben Affleck, Harrison Ford, Chris Pine, John Krasinski. No, this is Jack Ryan, played by Owen Wilson, a charming but mischievous kid with a history of small cons. Yeah, a kid. I think Owen Wilson was in his 40s, or is near his 30s around this point. 30s, 40s, somewhere around there. But yeah, a charming but mischievous kid. This is IMDb that's saying this, by the way. Like, that's not me saying this. I'm just reading the paragraph that they have for the synopsis here. Let me start over again. Jack Ryan, a charming but mischievous kid with a history of small cons, never nasty as he approaches life on the pleasant side, goes to Surfers Paradise, Hawaii, where they spell it Hawai here, where dodgy district judge Walter Cruz enlists him to get to real big criminals. Jack finds himself teaming up in bed and thieving business with Nancy Hayes, played by Sarah Foster, the greedy mistress of evil hotel magnate Ray Ritchie and his dumb lieutenant Bob Rogers Jr., and a real temptress gold digger. Actually, no, I said that wrong. Nancy Hayes, I think, is Bebe Neuwirth here. No, it was right before. It was Sarah Foster. This is not the best written synopsis here. So, yeah. So anyway, Jack finds himself teaming up in bed and thieving business with Nancy Hayes, played by Sarah Foster, the greedy mistress of evil hotel magnate Ray Ritchie and his dumb lieutenant Bob Rogers Jr., and a real temptress gold digger, but is about the only one without a hidden agenda. And this movie really has no idea what the hell it's trying to do here. This is a film that, you want to know how bad this movie is? They've made two different versions of The Big Bounce. And Elmore Leonard, who wrote the book, has called the 1969 version the second worst movie ever made, and reserved first place for the 2004 film. I think that pretty much says everything you need to know about this movie. I mean, too good of a cast in this movie. I mean, there's a lot of great talent involved in here, but there's just nothing there that you haven't seen done before. It's like a watered down version of Ocean's 11. Like, this is like Owen Wilson didn't get the chance to be in Ocean's 11, and he saw this as an opportunity to be like in an Ocean's 11 storyline, and there you go. Here it is right here, and it just doesn't work, and it just wastes its talent on board here. Nobody's really that interesting. Nobody's really that funny in this. There's not a whole lot of laughs. There's not a whole lot of surprises in there. Everything that you think could happen is going to happen in here. Just like with the perfect score, and you got served too, if you want to throw that in there. Every single one of these movies has the same end result. It's too predictable. You know exactly what's going to happen, and there's nothing that's making you want to stick around for this when it's all said and done. This is a boring film that has nothing of value to it whatsoever. Even the people on the poster that I'm looking at here do not look like they want to be there. This is like one of those bad posters where they just Photoshop people's faces on there and they don't look like they've been there whatsoever. Actually, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Yeah, just look at this, man. Just look at how bad this is. In fact, you know what? I can do this better. Hold on. Alright, this is a little bit better. This is on IMP Awards, but look at how bad these people are Photoshopped on here. Like, you can tell that the faces do not look like the same faces they were making when they made this poster. I think whoever was making the poster for this just took somebody's body and just plastered all these faces on here. The only person that looks like they're not looking like if their face was just plastered on here, I think maybe is Gary Sinise in the back right here. But even then, that's not really saying a whole lot about this situation here. This just looks like a bad poster. And Owen Wilson has been involved in movies with terrible posters where it just looks like they just plastered his face on there. For example, here's another Owen Wilson movie, Father Figures. Does anybody here look like they're actually taking a photo for this? it's, again, plastered faces all over a poster, and I think this one does it even this one's even worse. I mean, look at Christopher Walken right there, and like there's Terry Bradshaw. Look at Ving Rhames. What are these people even looking at? It's just like everybody's like, I imagine the photographer for this was going like, okay, everybody just look at random parts of the building, and then we'll just make a poster out of it. I don't know. Fuck it. I don't know. The studio's paying me money, so why not? But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That just reminded me of how bad this poster is. But we're still about 13 years away from this gem of a movie, in quotes. But yeah, what I was trying to say before about The Big Bounce is that, yeah, like I said, it's not a good movie. It's a really lackluster film, and it's a shame because some of Elmore Leonard's best stories became some really damn good movies. Get Shorty, Jackie Brown, Out of Sight. Here's another one that's trying to be like that and just fails miserably on so many different levels. So yeah, that is The Big Bounce. And so with that said, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies. The next time we meet, we'll take a look at the first films of February 2004, the sequel to Barbershop, Barbershop 2, Back in Business, Kurt Russell starring in the sports drama for Disney, Miracle, about the Miracle on Ice, Jennifer Beals, a young Kristen Stewart in the family adventure Catch That Kid, and finally we have The Dreamers, the NC-17 Bernardo Bertolucci film starring Ava Green. We'll take a look at those 4 movies all on the next episode. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the plays on the next page, check out the previous episode, and also don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this on this channel. And stick around, because coming up on Time About the Movies Flashback, we'll be taking a look at Shoot to Kill, Action Jackson, what else here? Satisfaction, School Days, and I think that's it. I mean, I'm looking at this list for the weekend of February 12th, 1988, because that's the next week we got to look at here. And I just want you to see something here. Yeah, I can't tell which ones are usually highlighted. If the new releases are usually highlighted, I have to look to see which ones are the ones that are highlighted. So that's why I was stumbling there for a moment. So like I said, Shoot to Kill, Action Jackson, Satisfaction, and I think School Days is the last one. I think all these other ones are releases from the weeks before. Oh, and the Manchurian Candidate too. So there you go. That's why I was stumbling there for a little bit. But that's going to be coming up as soon as I post this video, and then I will be back with Time About the Movies Flashback right after this.